The Port of Singapore is an excellent port and has helped Singapore become prosperous over the years. Singapore is solely an importing port. It buys resources from all over the world simply because Singapore doesn't produce anything. Singapore has been able to become prosperous in the 19th and 20th century by buying goods from countries and selling them for a higher price to other countries. The Port of Singapore has many terminals. One of them is located near Brani. All terminals in Singapore are in the south of the country, as it is easier for other countries to access them because the north of Singapore is very near to Malaysia and it'd be harder for the container ships to get past there. The other port is the Pasir Panjang port. It's man-made land and it didn't exist in the past. It was solely made for the purpose of building a new port. The port in Bangladesh is quite mediocre and produces only 2.34 million TEUs, while the port of Singapore produces 32.2 million TEUs annually, despite having only a 30th of the population of Bangladesh. This means there's not enough imported goods for everyone in Bangladesh and can lead to starvation due to lack of resources. Water supply is very reliable in most of Northwest Europe. Tap water in many countries is also drinkable and filtered, as Europe is a very developed continent and it has had time to set up a proper water supply. All countries have a backup supply in case of droughts or accidents, and therefore making the water supplies more reliable. There is also enough water for agriculture in Europe. Rarely ever someone in Europe dies of lack of sanitary water or lack of hydration. This is a graph of precipitation per country in Europe. You can see that countries such as Finland, Norway, and Russia have the most rain annually, but all countries have plenty and there are rarely any droughts in Europe. Only 27% of people living in Afghanistan have access to sanitary drinking water. Even less water is available for agriculture, and therefore Afghanistan has a very reliable water source. Many people in Afghanistan die per year from drinking unsanitary water or not having enough food because they can't grow enough to feed themselves. There have been sudden droughts in Afghanistan since 1995 and have occurred every 10 to 11 years after the first one. The first one lasted from 1995 till 2003 and was ended due to heavy snowing. The second one lasted from 2008 until 2010. The lack of water supply during these times led to more people in Afghanistan dying per year of starvation, dehydration, or from drinking unsanitary water. Droughts is also a lack of rain, which can lead to the slowing down of crop growth. As you can see on the map, the places where most people live is not where the most water is. This means that even more people die per year of dehydration or lack of drinking sanitary water.
Education in Swaziland. The government attaches great importance to education and implements compulsory education in primary schools. In 2006, the primary school enrollment rate was 78%, with an average of 32 teachers per student and an average of 20 teachers per secondary school student. According to the UNESCO and World Bank data, there are 541 primary schools and 182 secondary schools.
Specific areas within countries that receive more governmental investment generally thrive more in population than most rural areas that have low investment from the government, and therefore become more run down and lacking in population density. Also, wherever more new and developed towns are built, there are generally more people and a higher population density, while rural and old industrial areas do not have as high a population. There is a very important relationship between agricultural land and urban areas and its effect on population growth. Natural resources are materials produced naturally that can be used for economic value and/or for renewable energy. Natural resources are essential for human survival. Therefore, population density can be highly affected by natural resources and where they are produced or found. Throughout history, humans have settled closest to necessary quality resources, such as clean water and thriving wildlife. Also, natural resources are closely affected by population density, mainly because of something called supply and demand, which is when more people want a specific resource, the more of that resource needs to be produced for the people.
Swaziland is one of the world's only absolute monarchies and also have one of the world's highest AIDS infection rate and mortality rate. This picture is Swaziland's propaganda against AIDS.